biggest moments, some players shrink. Some players fold under pressure. Some players disappear when the stakes are highest, and some players become something else entirely. Fred VanVleet was not supposed to be here. He was only 6 feet tall in a league of giants. He was undrafted in a league that respects draft pedigree. He was overlooked by everyone. But when the lights got hot, when the game got tight, when everything was on the line, Fred VanVleet got hotter. He became essential. He became clutch. He became undeniable. This is the story of a man who kept betting on himself until the world had no choice but to pay attention. Frederick Edmund VanVleet Sr. was born on February 25, 1994, in Rockford, Illinois. Rockford is not a place that hands you anything. It does not promise you success. It does not guarantee you opportunity. Rockford tests you first. It breaks you down and then asks if you are tough enough to keep going. When Fred was only 5 years old, his father was killed. The kind of loss that can break a kid. The kind of loss that can destroy a family. The kind of loss that can end a story before it even begins. But in Fred's case, it built something else. It built a mindset. His mother kept him steady. She kept him focused. She kept him believing. His stepfather, an Army veteran and a retired Rockford police officer, became his trainer. He became his mentor. He became the man who showed Fred that hard work and discipline were the only things that mattered. And Fred grew up with one decision made for him. Either life happens to you, or you happen to life. For Fred VanVleet, basketball was not just a game. It was the plan. It was the purpose. It was the way out. At Auburn High School in Rockford, Fred was not chasing hype. He was not trying to get on AAU super teams. He was not trying to be on ESPN. He was building a resume. He led Auburn High School to a deep state tournament run. He became one of the best players in the entire state of Illinois. But here is what made Fred VanVleet different from so many other talented young players. He did not run to the biggest AAU brand for attention. He did not chase the spotlight. He stayed loyal to his local team. He stayed loyal to his community because he believed something that most people do not believe. He believed that if you lead, if you compete, if you win with whoever is beside you, the real scouts will find you. That is Fred VanVleet in one sentence. He did not need the spotlight. He built his own. Fred VanVleet chose to play college basketball at Wichita State University, not a blue blood, not a glamour campus, not a school that regularly gets national attention, but a place that matched his mentality. Wichita State did not promise him fame. They promised him work. They promised him discipline. They promised him a culture built on winning. And the Shockers became one of the toughest programs in America. They had a Final Four run. They had an undefeated regular season. They had a culture built on defense, on discipline, on leadership, on doing things the right way. Fred VanVleet became the engine of that team. He became the steady hand. He became the voice that did not panic when things got difficult. He was the point guard, 6 feet tall, 197 pounds. But his real measurements were different. His real measurements were heart, basketball intelligence, and the kind of stubborn belief that you cannot teach. You either have it or you do not. Fred VanVleet had it. Then came the moment that humbles almost everyone. Draft night, 2016. And Fred VanVleet did not get picked. No handshake, no hat, no moment where someone called his name on stage. Just silence. Just the realization that the NBA did not think he was good enough. Just the rejection of being told that you are not wanted. Most stories end in that moment. Most young athletes hear that message and they accept it. They accept that maybe the professionals knew better. They accept that maybe they should find something else to do. But for Fred VanVleet, this is where the story began. Because he did not hear undrafted as rejection. He heard it as a challenge. And he made a decision that would define his entire career. He decided to bet on himself. Toronto gave him a chance, but not a guarantee. Fred VanVleet bounced between the NBA and the G League. He had to prove he belonged every single day. He could not afford to have bad games. He could not afford to make mistakes. He had to be perfect. He had to be essential. And in 2017, he helped the Raptors 905, the Toronto Raptors G League affiliate, win a championship. That mattered. That meant something. Because it showed the Raptors organization something important. It showed them that Fred was not just talented. It showed them that Fred was built for winning. At any level, in any arena, against any competition. Then came 2019. The year that everything changed. The year that Fred VanVleet's entire career shifted. The Toronto Raptors had stars. They had talent. They had pressure. They had expectations. But championships do not belong to stars alone. They belong to the guys who deliver when the game gets tight. They belong to the role players who step up. Fred VanVleet struggled early in that playoff run. And then something happened. His son was born. His first child. And it was like a switch flipped inside him. His confidence came back. His legs came back. His shot came back. In the biggest games, when everything mattered, he started hitting daggers. The kind of shots that break a crowd's spirit. The kind of shots that change the momentum of a game. The kind of shots that championships are made of. And in the finals, when Toronto needed toughness, when they needed defense, when they needed fearless shooting, Fred VanVleet did not hesitate. Undrafted became champion. Not because he was supposed to be, not because the odds said he should be, but because he refused to accept any other ending. After the championship, Fred did not fade. He did not disappear. He elevated. He went from dependable role player to undeniable leader. He became a full-time leader. He ran the offense. He guarded the toughest perimeter defenders. He took the biggest shots. He carried the mindset of a champion. And in 2022, the league made it official. Fred VanVleet was selected to the NBA All-Star Game. Think about that for a moment. Undrafted to All-Star. That is not luck. That is not chance. That is a blueprint. That is a story. That is proof that if you believe in yourself when nobody else does, you can become unstoppable. Then came the next chapter. Houston. A new team. A bigger responsibility. And a veteran asked to stabilize a rebuild and raise the standard. And off the court, the respect got even louder. In 2025, Fred VanVleet was elected president of the National Basketball Players Association. His peers chose him. The other players in the league chose him to represent them. Chose him to be their voice. That does not happen unless players believe you are real. Unless they trust how you move. Unless you have earned it through your actions and your character. Even now, the game still tests Fred VanVleet. In late 2025, reports indicated that he suffered a torn ACL during an off-season workout. Setbacks, injuries, challenges. But if you have followed his story, if you understand who he is, you already know what comes next. Because setbacks do not scare a man who came up undrafted. They do not intimidate a man who has already proven that he can overcome anything. They just remind him who he is. Fred VanVleet is living proof that the world can doubt you and you can still win anyway. 6 feet tall, undrafted, champion, all-star, leader. He did not take shortcuts. He did not beg for respect. He earned it one rep at a time, one workout at a time, one game at a time. And if there is one message his entire career screams, if there is one lesson that his life teaches, it is this: bet on yourself. When nobody else believes in you, believe in yourself. When the world tells you that you are too small, that you are not good enough, that you should give up, bet on yourself. Work harder, train smarter, stay disciplined, stay focused, and eventually, the world will have no choice but to recognize what you have known all along, and that you belonged, that you were worthy, that you are a champion. This is the story of Fred VanVleet. This is Humble Fire.